Hello and welcome to the Scorpio new moon activation. I'm Adrienne Elise. This is a really powerful new moon, and so today we're going to tap into this energy of this Scorpio new moon with the sun and the moon in Scorpio and Mercury together. So we're going to use this energy of transformation to step into the depth of the truth of who we really are underneath our emotions and our stories, and look to see where this transformation can take place. So we had a really powerful Mars retrograde in Scorpio this year. And so all of the 2016 astrology is kind of a culmination of it, with this new moon in Scorpio saying it's time to take a big leap into the future, especially with the powerful generational astrology of Mars activating that Pluto generational square. This is about social and political and individual change on deep levels. And so in order for things to change, first things typically get a little bit uncomfortable. And this is exactly where we're at right now in our lives. A lot of people are having a bloom of all the issues they've been facing over this last year. And so we're seeing it pop up everywhere, but we are having this incredible power of Mars coming together with Pluto, the two rulers of Scorpio. They have been activating each other, and now Mars is squaring Uranus. And so this is, where is our past holding us back to moving into that future? What needs to be broken down, transformed, released? And so that's the title of this activation day, is Moving Mountains, because we've had a whole bunch of activation with fire and air, energy and earth, and we haven't had the water energy to be able to really move this. Whatever got started in the spring when Mars went retrograde and hung out in Scorpio almost all summer. So now we're finding what this really means, because Mercury is in Scorpio too. And so Mercury in Scorpio is basically the messenger saying, hey, in the depths of our subconscious, this is the deepest parts of ourselves, is the Scorpio energy. It's fixed water. And so here we are, just like plunging into the darkness. And as we head into the darkness of the season in the Northern Hemisphere, we're plunging into the darkness within our being. But this time we're learning from it. We have the gumption of Mars behind us to take the action steps that we need to take in our life. We have forward motion right now, and it's time to really leap forward. So this moon of transformation is an opportunity for us to completely let go of these stories from the past. Now, what are the stories? Well, they've been popping up in your life. It's like blooming of the mushroom mycelium. And so it's easy to see. And most likely these are in the intimate relationships that reflect our early childhood issues and the deepest core of our being, which is what is the Scorpio energy is all about. So what we have going on is the Mercury and the sun and the moon there together in Scorpio, and then a water trine with Neptune in Pisces. And so this is the energy of the dream, the visions, the collective, this spiritual feeling, this religious spiritual feeling of reverence. If we can bring this energy into this water, the air and the fire can scorch the rock, but only the water can move the rock. And that's exactly what we're moving, is deep dark within us, these places of mountains of suppressed emotion, generations of belief systems and conditioning that we carry, but are not the truth of who we are. And Scorpio wants to go into the depths and find the truth of who you are, especially with Mercury right there with the sun and the moon. It's really about revealing the true identity, harmonized with all that water. Now, then we've got Mars and Pluto, the rulers of Scorpio, coming together, powerful, breaking down the dam, bringing the tears, bringing the emotions, bringing the feelings that need to come forward in order to break these stuck places. And so we're having the strength to look at the truth, to face the truth, and then what do we do with the truth? And even if we don't want to face it right now, it seems to be flying in our face. And so there's a beautiful energy here with Saturn and the Venus, the goddess, coming together in Sagittarius. And the wild thing is that right now, today, they're right at 14 degrees Sagittarius, which is also the area of the great attractor. The energy of the great attractor is like not a black hole, but like an energetic vortex where light seems to bend around it in space. And so the energy of the great attractor in astrology has this sense of destiny to it. And so wherever this falls in your chart is where this feeling of destiny, of like being pulled towards something, it can be kind of uncomfortable, but at the same time, it's also empowering. It's a time of surrender. It's a time of letting go of all the stories and all the constructs in our lives that are no longer serving the truth of who we are. And so we're like delving into finding the truth of who we are and starting to commit to living by that truth. And the help with that, what the great attractor, the destiny around this, which is what I think we should focus on in the activation today, is around the goddess. And Sagittarius, Saturn and Sagittarius, Saturn is the worker. It's like, let's get serious about this. It's an action planet, but it wants to take step by step. It wants to plan it out. It wants to go by the rules. And so, but in Sagittarius, it's about striving to understand beyond the veil, beyond what we understand already. So the work of Saturn, it's like pushing at the edge of this veil of understanding. And what of the understanding, what is our destiny to try to understand the work of this, of the human culture right now? The destiny, the work of the human culture has to do with understanding the feminine. And so with Black Moon Lilith, also in Scorpio, Black Moon Lilith represents archetypes of the male and the female that have been destructive and damaging and also rewriting those archetypes and those stories. Now, what this means for all of us, because we all have male and female within us, is that it's time, it's our opportunity to claim the goddess into our lives. Now, what does that mean? The goddess energy is the divine feminine, and it can show up in a lot of ways. But what is happening right now with this water trine and this grand cardinal T-square, and also this Scorpio activation, is saying that we need to find self-compassion to help us through this delving into the shadow, into this transformational time where we're shedding our skin. And so the goddess Venus and Saturn are coming together to learn and grow and expand and do the work. And so the first place that we receive the goddess back into our lives is to our individual lives. And so it's a perfect time right now in this new moon to exercise self-compassion and support yourself through this tunnel into the truth of who you are, and loving and forgiving yourself. And love, that's how we can love and forgive the other people in our lives for the roles that they've played as well. And these are all coming up, all these stories, because we're in this energy of Scorpio and we're shedding skin and we are facing the shadow. Now, ultimately within us in the human culture, the shadow has to do with the feminine. It has to do with the cast aside parts of ourselves. We live in a materialistic world that does not value the feminine arts. It does not value intuition. It does not value slow and soft and meditative qualities or healing. True healing is not supported in this society. And so this is like our patriarchal corporate bureaucracy that we live in, and there's no room for this divine feminine. So because we need money to survive, we and the feminine energy does not stack up dollars because it's invisible. It doesn't have inherent value. And so it's like inside all of us is this Lilith who's been cast into the underworld, and because she's misunderstood, because she wouldn't submit to the male patriarchy. And so she's cast into the underworld, and she becomes deep into the work of the monsters, and she's living in this place of the darkness. So this is the place within us that is the cast aside feminine, the dirty wretch, the whore, the crazy baddie old woman. It's all of these archetypes, negative archetypes of the feminine, are all tied up in Lilith energy. And so literally we're all going in within and finding this poor wretch of a woman who's been living in the alleys, alleyways of life. And we're picking her up out of the gutter, and we're saying, hey, I want to value you again. So today we're going to come into the arms of the goddess and receive the help of the destiny, the human destiny of the goddess awakening within. And so on that note, let's go ahead and get into this activation and use this Venus goddess energy and Saturn, powerful Mars calling for change, calling for the breakdown in our lives, calling for the reality check. And also the reality check, of course, is in that shadow territory, our deepest inner depths of our intimate relationships, patterns, our early childhood patterns, our deepest wounds. All of it's up for review right now. So it's a great opportunity to step into the destiny of the goddess, and reclaim this self-compassion. So go ahead and allow yourself to arrive here in this moment, just taking a few deep breaths. Just feeling yourself coming into communication with Mother Earth Gaia, this beautiful goddess that we travel with our spaceship. Mother Earth is the first representation of the goddess in our lives, holding us in this reality. Together we journey. So go ahead and just feel yourself growing roots, becoming a part of the living being that is Gaia. Just feel yourself surrounded by her love, growing up around you like a comforting vine, like a lotus flower, just holding you in a warm, intimate embrace. The rebirth of the divine feminine, the reclamation of the dirty whore within, is our destiny as humans right now. The strength to face our shadow, heal and love and forgive and release. So we're going to use this big water energy, waterfall energy today, to move these mountains. The mountains are stuck emotions around the disenfranchised part of yourself, the part of yourself that doesn't get to be who she or he really wants to be. The truth. So go ahead and be the mother energy to that part of yourself that's been cast aside. The part of yourself that said, no, you can't do that in this lifetime. You have to follow the rules. You have to do it the way everybody else does it. So go ahead and pick up that part of yourself that needs to be loved by the goddess and acknowledged. And goddess energy is intuition. It's gentleness. It's slow. It's meditation. It's creativity. It's love. It's compassion. And just feel yourself opening up your pores of your life, opening up to the energy of the goddess, feeling loved by life. And what does your life look like when you feel loved by life? When you feel nurtured by the universe, This is a 3D reality with sharp edges, and it's been rough ride. But now it's time to come into a different dimensional frequency that's more round, that's more in balance between the male and the female, and feel the earth come into a more feel your body harmonize with the roundness of the earth, the rounding out the corners of your life, sending compassionate waves of understanding through all of your relationships. You're just opening up to the blessings of the universe, turning on the faucet, so to speak, to receive, wash away the old and receive the new. And just feeling the cleansing energy of water just washing over you. Finding all of the dark hidden corners. We compensate the darkness within our shadow, and that's usually the negative feelings about ourselves have to do with the feminine side. Do you see how we have all cast aside this part of ourselves? And it's time to reclaim our right to be whole and complete, to allow compassion and healing and love and gentleness to be a part of our lives. It is our spiritual path at this point to find new ways of peacefulness on the planet. So just feeling this peaceful, calm, deep lake forming within you, letting whatever wants to come to the surface, whether it's emotions, realizations, or thoughts. Just let everything bubble to the surface. Imagine that you're cleansing away in like a transformational witch's cauldron all of the energies that are no longer serving you. Just cutting away, washing away, bubbling out, releasing, transforming. As these places within you open, feel the expansiveness of love and light coming into these places, and receive any information or images that might be helpful in understanding as what's leaving your space right now. What is it that you're completely ready after years and years of carrying around, or lifetimes, this story? What is it? What story for you is up for review? With all this powerful astrology breaking down everything we know, we thought to be true. Feel yourself surrender to the destiny of compassion in your life. Self-compassion, vulnerability. There is no value for vulnerability. The feminine aspects of ourselves has been seen as weakness. But until we can find the strength of that vulnerability, we cannot come into balance on the planet or in the individual. So feel yourself just moving into the darkest, heaviest, tucked away, compensated places. What happens is we go through our life, and if we can't face or deal with the emotions that are happening, we tuck them away and we just get through. And now it's time to lighten our load. And typically you'll feel this in your body in tension. So go into that place of tension. Just pick a spot in your body and ask what's ready to be released. Today, here in this activation, this new moon in Scorpio, stepping into a commitment of a new you in 2017, the truth of you. Compassionate love towards the truth of who you really are is what this Scorpio energy is asking us to do. Be vulnerable and true to ourself first. Just go ahead and find those spaces that are ready to be released. Be with them, bless them, and release them. Feel the washing, harmonizing, mother's milk, the waters of Mother Earth, just washing over and cleansing and harmonizing your whole being, cell by cell, making more room for the light, this golden light of the sun. The beautiful activations that are happening right now on planet Earth. Releasing the heaviness of these stories is allowing us to soak up the energy of the sun. Allow for these DNA changes to happen, the reprogramming, as these ancestral stories just fall away and stop having control over our life. So just see yourself stepping into the new. There's a threshold in front of you. And the threshold is your future without this story anymore. And go ahead and just put your toe over the line and just feel what it feels like over there. Feel the lightness in your being. Feel the love coming back into your cells. And when you're ready, just pretend and see yourself taking off a coat. This is a coat that's been passed on for generations through both family lines. Some sort of patchwork design, very complicated, that you have been wearing like a badge. And go ahead and just take off these stories of your ancestors and of the past, of your repeating patterns, and just feel how heavy it is and what's in there. What pictures need to come to be released? What is this all about for you? What is pictures are attached to the pain that you can take off this cloak and pull out that pain from your organs and your tissues and your bones and your muscles. Pull out that tension, pull out that heaviness, pull out that darkness. And when you're ready, just go ahead and take that coat off. Feel like the phoenix, a symbol of Scorpio, transformed, bursting into flames. The coat bursts into flames and pushes you over the threshold into the new you. And just feel yourself surrounded by this golden energy, your cells a little more open to receiving the light and the love of the universe. The feminine is about being receptive and quiet, another thing that is not at all valued in our society. So go ahead and allow for some quiet time right now and a commitment to this feminine quiet time in your life as a way to develop this self-compassion, this love, this balance, this reclamation of the feminine and the goddess rebirth. And just feel yourself step into this peace. Go ahead and bring your attention to your heart, the area of your heart. There's a vortex there. Just step into the portal of the heart and feel yourself coming into this still point, into this deep, deep peace. It's available to you at any time. Just remind yourself of this. Receiving an energy wave of harmonizing and healing all that's happening in your field right now. Just bringing you deeper in communication with Mother Earth, deeper into still point, deeper into the peace that is your birthright as a balanced and whole human, male and female archetypes and expressions and energies. Feel yourself deeply at peace. Maybe you struggle with this male or female energy of being in a body and struggling with the archetypes of having to be in duality consciousness. Come out of duality consciousness into the still point of this now moment. There's no past, there's no future, there's only right now, right here, in deep peace. We're moving into the place where there is no polarity, and so it's a complete healing of all stories of archetypes, different sides, the battle of the sexes, just coming into deep oneness, deep reverence, deep love and forgiveness of both the divine masculine and feminine parts of ourselves. Just allowing that energy to infuse into your being in this peaceful still point, and just allow yourself the quiet, the receptive, intuitive, feminine energy of the goddess rebirth in your life for just a moment. Journeying through the portal of the heart, receiving any information or activation that might be helpful on your journey. Taking a few deep breaths. Just resting in that stillness and that still point, allowing yourself to really have this peace. The peace of feeling everything, you have everything you need. Completely cared for by this existence. Just taking a few deep breaths, feeling that peace reset your whole being, cell by cell, your whole aura energy field, with the potential for peace and healing and harmonizing, washing away the old stories and the painful past, and feel yourself stepping into the new. Just taking a few deep breaths and beginning to come out of meditation gradually as you're ready, taking your time, staying in the heart-centered consciousness as long as it's comfortable for you. Staying in still point, it's a place available for you. Always remember, Mother Earth, Goddess Gaia is right here, ready to embrace you as you embrace the goddess within. So thank you so much for joining me. I'm Adrienne Elise, and when you're ready, you can go ahead and come out of meditation. Awakening is such a potent and powerful path, and I've dedicated my life to this process and figuring out how to harmonize it. And it's my passion to share this with you. So thank you so much for joining me. And for more information, you can check out adriennelise.com for your individual reading or intuitive classes. Thank you so much for joining me for this activation. I look forward to next time. Happy new moon. Namaste.